going to do is an exercise that I haven't done for a really long time, and I got reminded of it the other day, and I was like, that is such a brilliant exercise. Why haven't I given that to any of my clients or done it in any of my routines recently? So I'm popping it in this one because it's one that I am doing a lot of for myself. I'm going to just move slightly away from my mat. You don't need to do that, but you're going to have your hands in this outstretched position. So excuse me that my head's got cut off. I couldn't quite get my room set up so that my head was in it and that the light was still good. So you're standing with your bottom against the wall with your feet parallel and hip distance apart, okay? So once again, it's the same principle that I was talking about in that previous exercise. We are not splaying the toes out to the side. So we're not measuring parallel and hip distance apart by the position of our big toes. We're trying to get the middle of the second and the third toes in alignment with the middle of the ankle, knees and hips. And hip width apart is more narrow than most people think. So we're popping ourselves into that position to start with. We're trying to keep our heels, our calves and our bum at the wall. We're going to be spreading our arms wide like this, so palms facing forwards, trying to pull the shoulder blades back and down away from the ears, and you're going to be holding your arms and your hands in this position, and you're going to move your rib cage from side to side. So I'm going to just do this quickly to show you. We're going to be doing 5 repetitions in this position, and then we're going to be taking our feet wider to sort of change the load through the pelvis and the hips. The thing to watch out for standing windmill is number 1, that you are not moving your pelvis from side to side, okay? So can you see here how this isn't my rib cage moving, this is me moving my pelvis. That's kind of common compensation number 1. Common compensation number 2 is that you might notice that one of your heels might want to lift. So as you go to the left, for example, you might realise that you're trying to lift up your right heel. Keep the heels planted, keep the pelvis still, and the third most common compensation is the people that are trying to swoop their arms around. So they're trying to swish their arms and shoulders, but not move from the rib cage, okay? So your hands should be locked in position, the arms should be locked in position, the shoulders are locked in position, and you're tilting the rib cage and the hand and the arm follows. Can you see there how the shoulder, the elbow and the hand all stay in alignment with one another throughout? I'm not doing this type of thing. So if you can hear different swoopy sounds against the wall, you're probably trying to lead with your hands rather than lead with the rib cage, which is this weird movement. But hopefully watching me do it will make it make a little bit more sense. So we're getting ourselves starting out, we're keeping the heels down, and we're only moving as far as we can without lifting a heel or moving our pelvis to the side at all, okay? Nice and slowly, I'm going to take myself to my left, I'm going to pause. My hand and arm has not moved out of alignment with the shoulder. I come on up and I go the other side, sensing in for differences from side to side as I do the movements. And that is 1 rep. We're going to go again. Go nice and slowly and feel into what should be a kind of stretch along the side of your torso. The shoulder blades stay at the wall, the hands are not swooshing round, the arms are following the trajectory of the rib cage. So there's the rib cage moving in lateral flexion, the pelvis stays still, the heels stay down. We've done 2 reps. 3, and just noticing if it feels or starts to feel a little bit more mobile the more that you do. 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. And take a little break there. We're going to step our feet so that they're about 2 feet far apart. And you're going to turn your toes slightly in. So as you take your feet wider, you might notice that you're trying to splay your toes out again. You're still keeping your feet parallel, even though the legs are wider. So turn those toes in. You're measuring a straight line off the outside edge of your feet, not the inside edge of your feet. We're keeping the feet parallel, but we're changing the demand through the pelvis and the hips. The rules stay the same here. So we're not allowing the pelvis to move, so you shouldn't hear any swoosh, swoosh, swoosh of your bum moving from side to side. And the hands and the arms and the shoulders stay rigid as the rib cage moves. And you're also trying not to like rotate your head and your neck. The head and the neck are going along for the ride, but you're not twisting your head. Again, trying to create the movement from the neck that should be happening from this thoracic area. Off we go. 1. 1. And you can go slower than me if you need to, that's fine. 2. 2. Make sure that there's no heels lifting, no movement through the pelvis, and that you're moving your rib cage, not your hands and your arms. They are following the rib cage. 1 more. 5. Good job. Relax off. We're now going to take our feet even wider. So we're really challenging our hips here in what we call abduction. And it's just making the pelvis have to stabilize the movement of the rib cage a little bit differently. Remember, turning those toes in, so you're slightly pigeon-toed, will give you the actual parallel foot. Bum stays at wall, knees are straight. We're not allowing the pelvis to shift from side to side. We're making sure it's our rib cage that we're trying to drive completely sideways. There's no rotation through that rib cage. We are trying to remove thoracic rotation, so it's important we get this side to side movement, not a rotation, either from the rib cage or from your head twisting, which is a common compensation. Off we go. 1. And you're trying to go as far as you can, not as fast as you can. So you're trying to take your body as much as possible without compensating from side to side. Don't worry about speed. 2. 3. 3. 4. 4. 5. 5. And final time, we're going to bring ourselves right back to where we started. Hip distance apart, keeping those feet parallel. Just tune into how your body feels here. So for me, I feel a really big difference in terms of how my shoulder blades, rib cage and bum are kind of interacting with the wall when I do this the second time round. As I stretch out those sort of tight fibers that I have on either side of my body, it really helps restore my rib cage position, frees my shoulders. It just feels amazing. I feel really different after doing this one. Hopefully you are the same. Okay, final time here. The next one's going to be a little bit more relaxing. Off we go. And just noticing if it does feel a little bit looser, having done the other ones first. 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 5. Cool. Quick little check-in. Oh, my right shoulder is definitely changing position. That is good. Okay.